There we are. And we are live on episode 8 with Barbara Mindell on the Quadra Quadcast. Thank you very much for joining us, everybody. Sorry for the brief hiatus. Been a bit of a busy guy.
Yep.
But yeah, super happy to be back. I had reached out to Barb, and she was one of our most requested guests, actually, to have on the show. People were really interested to hear some of your local knowledge. You've been a local business owner here for a number of years.
16 years.
16 years,
Yeah.
right? So Barb's about as local as it comes, and you've been living here for how long?
35 years.
35 years on Quadra. So really excited to sit down and just have a quick chat. We were just kind of racing in here. We just got back from Copper Bluffs. We did a little drive up to visit my dad up there, and
Beautiful drive.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
A couple of these guys, they'd never driven out there, so they're both like, "Whoa, it's so mossy out here." And
so green.
that's North Callan Harbor Road, right? So.
Yeah, when I first moved here from Alberta, I was shocked at how green it was in the winter because everything's just dead and yellow in the winter there.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
No, we live in in a rainforest here, essentially, right? So
Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah.
Green, beautiful.
rains a lot, but hey, that's
All right.
why it's so green.
Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
that's the idea. That's what makes all of our plants and everything grow so healthy, which is pretty cool, right? We have so many of. We were talking on one of the last shows with Rena there about like the potential for the Quadra blackberry farm that could for the world, right?
Oh, yeah.
The amount of like fruits that we have to just grow here.
Yeah, we're so lucky. In fact, the smoothies at the store, all of the fruit for the whole year of making smoothies comes from my garden.
Oh, nice. Yeah, you got a
five
killer
different
garden
berries,
there, hey?
grapes, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
What have you put in? Have you done some expansions this year for this upcoming year? Like, what's what's new in the garden?
We have a big asparagus bed. I hope I get something from there.
How many years in are you? Because that's like a 3-year project.
Well,
that kind
Laird
of thing?
and I started growing asparagus many years ago, but just the bed was awful. So Vaughn built a new bed, and we moved all that asparagus plus new asparagus into that bed. So I'm not.
So it had
sure
already
how
grown
for
pretty tall
years.
for the years,
Yeah,
and then
but
you transplanted it.
didn't get much because the soil was.
Oh,
the bed was
yeah.
kind of falling apart. It was really old.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
you got him in a new home now and hoping for
Absolutely.
fresh growth this year.
And we
cool.
planted some new stuff too.
Cool.
And loganberries. We started those last year. Have you ever tried them?
I'm not sure. I'm not super familiar.
They're like really big, a cross between a blackberry and a raspberry, and they have some seeds, but not very many. So they're huge and
They look like
delicious.
huge red blackberry kind of thing.
Well, they're kind of a cross. They have red and blackberry and raspberry kind of looking.
Nice.
And the plants just like take off.
Yeah.
And you end up with so much fruit. It's incredible.
Nice.
From like one vine, 2 vines.
Yeah, I had one strain of raspberry. Like I planted a whole whack of raspberry in my spot, different like varieties. And there was one variety in particular, I don't know if it was maybe something like that. But yeah, they were like thumb size. They tasted just like a raspberry, but man, they were huge. I was like, whoa, all the other ones were little, you get thumbnails.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But when you get like
thumbs
that are like long and like, whoa, this thing is long,
that's
right?
like a loganberry.
Yeah. I wonder if it was maybe like even like a cross.
No, loganberries have a taste of their own.
They're different,
They're not like a raspberry or a blackberry and that. So I heard about loganberries from, do you remember Mike Thompson?
No.
No?
Maybe.
Fair's dad. Fairly. From the bank. Her dad. No.
I don't bank there.
Okay. Anyways, Betty Thompson, who's been on the island forever, and her son Mike, he had a place on the beach, and he had a bunch of loganberries growing there, and he gave us a taste, and I thought, I want to grow loganberries. So
really?
I happened to see somebody on the swap and shop selling loganberry plants, and I just got right on it. Yeah.
And they're doing well.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, I like the idea of berries. We got a whack of raspberries, and then we got a whack of cherries, and we've been going through them pretty well. But then I just was looking at my freezer, and I found like a bunch of bags of cherries, and I was like, oh man, So I was like, oh, this is ridiculous. We're looking for some freezer space. So I was like,
Yeah.
okay. So I talked to Fermentations there, and I got a brew going on there with 26 pounds of cherries.
Wow.
And then 24 pounds of cherries, 6 pounds of raspberries. And he's going to do a 30-pound batch for me. So, even if they get, yeah, well,
cherries are so good.
The raspberries kind of got munged in the freezer, though. You know what I mean, though, when they get soft and squished. So it's going to be perfect for the wine, right?
Oh, good. Yeah, we do blackberries, blueberries. We have about 40 or 50 blueberries that Bonnie and I planted. And Laird and I had maybe 3 big blueberry plants already. So we've been getting blueberries for a long time.
Nice.
And lots of grapes. And we planted more grapes this year. Huckleberries. I got a huckleberry rake.
Really?
And we used to.
Oh, like with the bucket thing attached? Yeah, those are awesome.
You can pick like a honey bucket in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And so there's a few leaves,
so
you can get the leaves out, but before that, picking huckleberries took like all day to get.
Yeah. What's your tech for getting the leaves off the berries? Do you?
Just put them in a basket and do that, and kind of just.
Need a basket. Okay.
I have a thin basket.
Oh yeah.
Just lay them there.
That would really work well. Yeah.
And I don't mind a few leaves.
No.
Apparently the leaves are really good.
Yeah, they're good.
Depression, I've heard.
Oh, so perfect.
Not that I've ever been depressed.
Right? You seem like a pretty happy
I've never been depressed.
Yeah, you and me both, I feel like I've felt it through my life, in times, but, I feel like very blessed to be not having to struggle with that as a main thing. You see a lot of people that, it really drags them down. It's a really tough thing to see people battle with too, right? But
it is. But I've never in my life. I mean, I've had really hard times, but I've always been able to look past it.
Yeah. So have you been doing are you a vegan or what? You have a really wild diet, right?
Okay,
it's pretty cool.
When I met Laird, 25 or 30 years ago, I was a vegetarian and he was a vegetarian. Yeah. And together we decided to become vegan, so we dropped the dairy. Yeah. Okay. I was eating some fish before. He hadn't eaten fish; he was just eating dairy. Mm-hmm. And so we dropped the dairy and did that for 25 whatever years. Mm-hmm. And a couple of years ago, I have chickens, and they were just like dropping their eggs everywhere, and I would not do anything with them. I love the chickens.
Yeah.
So one year I got shingles, and have you ever had shingles?
No, but
painful.
I saw my grandpa go through it, and it looked brutal.
Yeah. Well, I studied nutrition at the Canadian School of Natural Nutrition, and it mentioned that. It mentioned that it's a part of a protein that's missing when you get like cold sores and shingles, and proteins are made up of like 22 amino acids. One of the amino acids is arginine and one is lysine. And people who get shingles and cold sores, they are lacking in lysine, which is a piece of a protein, and too much arginine. Arginine in like coconut, nuts and seeds, things that vegans eat a lot of, are full of arginine, and animal products are full of lysine. So I realized if I didn't want to get cold sores and shingles anymore, I needed to somehow get more lysine. And when I looked into it, I was thinking, these chickens are dropping these eggs. I don't have to kill anything. And they're just offering them to me, basically. And I feed them organic, really, really good food, including spirulina. And I just thought,
to your chickens,
I'm going to try these eggs.
Yeah.
So I did start incorporating my chicken's eggs. I don't eat any other eggs, just my chicken's eggs.
Yeah, well, see,
I'm an egg-eating vegan.
See, I feel super strongly again towards eating eggs because it's one of those things. It's cruelty-free, especially if you don't have a rooster in your flock. It's not even a problem.
I have roosters, but when the chickens are laying on their eggs to hatch The baby chickens, I would never touch their eggs. No, I love having the babies.
Yeah, and you've even you've made chicks. Like I've seen you do the whole incubate them and or do you incubate them or you just let them do them naturally? You just let them do it. Wow, that's cool.
Every year we end up with I don't know, like maybe 8 chicks. Last year we only got 3 or 4.
They're tough. They're very fragile. Those little
they are, and the ravens love them. They just like taste really
so
good.
Tasty, little chicken wings.
Yeah, little chicken.
Yeah, it's funny. There was a glassblower friend of mine, and I fed him one of my farm eggs. He said he never had the opportunity. The city boy, he's like, I never had the opportunity to have farm eggs. So he's like, I'll try one of those. And he was like, watching him try the egg. He's a 30-year-old man. Watching him try egg for his first time ever. It was pretty fun. Wow. He wasn't that into it.
Yeah.
But he
ate other eggs, right? You're saying?
No, because he was so against the store-bought eggs that he wouldn't do it. But he's like, farm eggs? He's like, that's cool, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Oh, yeah, the color is incredible of the yolk.
They're so good.
Bright orange, and the better you feed them, the better the eggs are.
My duck eggs are really good. I don't know if you got into that, but
ducks, so Vaughn was totally into getting all these animals.
Yeah.
I just look after them in the end, but So Vaughn got ducks, and there was so much duck poo everywhere. I was just
they're brutal with the
Everywhere you walk, there's duck poo. Even though I love the ducks.
Yeah.
But so we got rid of the ducks. And now there's just chicken poo. Not quite as bad.
Yeah. Yeah, the duck eggs, they definitely creep some people out. They're
huge.
It's an edge. It's like, whoa, that's a big, thick, rich egg. But get them in a good scramble or whatever. And the duck egg pancakes have been one that I really like doing. I just saw these, speaking of pancakes, I saw it was on some internet thing. It was these Japanese fluffy pancakes.
Oh, yeah.
And apparently, I saw in the comments you can get them at the Kingsway Market or Kingston Market or something in Vancouver. But there were these pancakes that were this thick and just fluff, looked like a foam. I was like, whoa, that'd be a nice consistency of pancake, right? Yeah. Did you do your own pancake or what?
Yeah, but I don't eat much flour.
No.
Anymore. I barely eat any flour.
Yeah. Hemp hearts, lots of hemp hearts.
Yeah, hemp hearts are good every day.
Yeah, I get the hemp hearts off you in bulk.
I make milk from my hemp hearts.
You do the hemp milk?
Milk is so easy to make.
Yeah.
After I made it the first time, I thought, what the hell? How come I haven't been doing this all along? And
I
buy milk again.
Yeah.
So it's so easy. It's for all you out there to tell you how easy.
Yeah.
It's 4 cups of water to 1 cup of nuts or seeds. I use hemp seeds. You can use cashews, almonds. You can use anything.
Yeah.
You can use sesame seeds, sunflower seeds. Soak them overnight in a blender. Yeah, you need a blender.
Yeah.
In the morning, just turn the blender on.
That's the tech too, is soak in the blender.
Soak in the blender.
Right? Yeah.
Turn the blender on and beat it up really well.
Yeah.
And I've just got a big jar and a metal strainer that sits on top of it.
Yeah.
And I just pour it through there, strain out the fiber.
Yeah.
And you get this incredible, rich, thick.
Do you ever do a mix of nuts in there, or do you just usually do hemp?
I'm just into the hemp.
It's really cool how, I remember doing a large batch of it in the blender and then dumping it into a glass vessel.
Yeah.
And then putting it into the fridge and you watch it separate in 4 different layers kind of thing, and scoop that foamy cream off and just eat. It's oh man, that's good.
Yeah, I don't do that part.
You haven't tried that? Oh,
I shake it up. Time and
Yeah, fair. I've definitely scooped off the top because I was oh, that's got to be a creamy something, right? So you'd imagine if you kept doing that and collecting that, then you would get that.
You get the fat.
You'd get that spot, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Ooh, that'd be crazy. Yeah, the things you can do with the hemp seed, hey? Wow.
Yeah, incredible.
Yeah, well, it's funny. I've been following a bit of the cannabis news there, and a lot of these, the big money guys are pushing away from the Canadian legal cannabis scene. And it'd be neat actually to get some. I wonder if we had one day we'll get some Quadra harvested hemp seed.
Oh, that'd be nice.
Right?
Yeah. Maybe get one of those hemp growers.
And then turn my light on here on this situation too. I'm not sure what, but I don't know if that's a bit much.
A very bright light.
Yeah, I don't know. No, we don't need that. That's better without it. Yeah. I keep forgetting. I'm like, oh, the light's perfect for the guests, and then I'm like, no, it's too bright. We don't. It's a little bright. We've got the nice natural coming through here. This is my my scrap glass window.
I know. I love it. Really outside there. It's really good.
Actually, it's my buddy Mikey over here. He was the one that did the mural on the all over there too. We're just kind of, it's got to face Mitch's shop, so it's got to be you know, get a truck or maybe a.
Oh, this teepee that I made when I was young.
Yeah, totally. You made a teepee.
I made a teepee when I was 16. We used to go camping, my boyfriend and some friends of ours. We'd go every weekend outside of Calgary. We went to the library and got this book called The Indian Teepee, and he took a pattern out of it, went and bought his canvas, and then we thought, okay, this looked like huge, and I've taken sewing. I've been sewing since I was 12, and so I thought, okay, we can do this. Anyways, when we started out, I did over a month.
Yeah.
They come from Alberta, lodgepole pine, that's what it's called, and it grows in Alberta. So we went to the forest and we got 19 of these lodgepole pines, all of us, rented a vehicle, because none of us had any vehicles back then, we were all really young, and a truck, and brought them into town, to his mother's backyard.
Town where, sorry?
In Calgary.
In Calgary?
Yeah. And we worked all winter skinning these lodgepole pines and getting every knot off of them. Because if the water hits a knot, it drips down. So you have to get all the knots off, make it all smooth. So we did that. Then we thought, okay, now we got to sew this teepee. We need a big, huge area. So we talked to the principal of our high school to see if we could use the gymnasium weekends. And he gave us a key. These are 16-year-olds. Right?
Yeah.
He gave us a key, and he checked in on us like twice. It took us like a whole year, I think.
Yeah.
Every weekend going in there and sewing.
No way.
And by the time we were done, and we finally put this teepee up.
You had the machine in the school?
Yeah, we brought this industrial machine, and we got to leave it there.
Yeah.
And yeah, we just parked in the room. It's amazing how the trust that happens.
Yeah.
You know, for us to be able to go in there.
That's pretty cool.
And I think he thought, wow, these are like really inspiring young people doing something. So we just happened on a really good principle.
Yeah.
Anyways, we sewed this teepee, put it up in his mother's backyard, and we were shocked at this teepee that we saw that this couple had when they went camping. Was about 10 feet tall or 8 feet tall, and it was tiny. It was maybe 8 feet in diameter. Well, we put our teepee up, and it was the walls were 35 feet tall.
Whoa!
The teepee was 25 feet high and 25 feet in diameter.
Huge!
And after we put it up, we realized, what have we got? This is like a monster thing. And we lit a big, huge fire in the middle.
Whoa.
And had a big party. There was over 50 of us inside this teepee, all playing musical instruments, and
crazy.
And it was amazing. So every weekend it was party in the teepee. My boyfriend's mother's backyard.
Whoa!
She was a really good mother.
In
because
Calgary.
I don't think I'd put up with that.
Yeah.
You know that. Yeah, we were all drinking and having fun. And,
seasonal appropriate or
no?
Out there in the winter.
All winter.
Oh wow!
We had to find wood for the fire.
Yeah.
There was a grocery store down the road, and in those days, this was like 1975, I think.
Yeah.
The Coca-Cola cases were all made of wood. There was no plastic. And so we would go back and steal those Coca-Cola cases from the back of there's a grocery store. And that's how we would warm our teepee.
Bunch of pallets. There you go.
Oh yeah, it was so much fun.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, so that was, anyways, we had that teepee for years, and it was perfect there. It was up all the time, year round, in his mother's backyard.
Yeah.
And, knock, 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 somebody's at the door. Oh. Anyways, I'll carry on with this story. So when I got married and moved to BC, we brought the teepee with us, and it was up for maybe one year, and it was already starting to mold from the rain. And year after year, it just got moldier and moldier. And so I started patching it. And even though we put silicone, painted silicone waterproofing all over it, it continued to mold. That's fine. I'm just carrying on with the full story. More patch. First moved to Quadra.
Oh, you brought it out here?
Brought it out here.
Oh, wow.
Over the winter, I got kicked out of my house when I was 16. And I lived in Calgary.
Yeah.
And I lived for 9 months over the winter
Whoa.
in that teepee, camping. And my boyfriend would come every weekend. I lived by myself out there.
Oh, you took it out of the boyfriend's mom's backyard?
Yeah, and put it out in this. We were like 30 miles outside of Calgary, heading towards Banff.
Whoa.
And it was at this campground that we used to go to all the time.
Yeah.
So we put it up there, and he'd come every weekend with food and supplies, and I would just stay out there.
Whoa.
And it was like the best experience ever. And the forest rangers, like, you're not allowed to camp more than 2 weeks at a time. Mm-hmm. But they came and checked on me all the time, and I was only like 16 or 17.
Parents checked on you, or they just kicked you out?
No, I got kicked out. I came from a Jewish family.
Oh, okay.
And the artist guy who I was dating, we built this teepee.
Yeah.
Was not Jewish. So in those days, you were not allowed to do that.
Okay.
And I had one cousin who married somebody who wasn't Jewish, and that was like a no-no, and my dad kind of put his foot in his mouth and said, "You'll never find my kids doing that."
Really?
And then as soon as I started dating somebody who wasn't Jewish, and I was camping like every weekend.
So that's why they kicked you out, was because you were hanging out with him?
Yeah.
Whoa,
yeah,
right?
I know. So,
yeah.
Yeah.
What an introduction to living on your own, right?
Oh, yeah,
wow.
One night there was a bear, and we already knew that there were going to be bears around, and I could hear it out there, and it was really good. We had our cache and stuff in the tree on a pulley.
Whoa.
But I heard the bear. It was in like the pots and pans and all the kind of stuff outside, but it never came into the teepee or ripped the teepee or anything. But that was I think the only time I was ever really scared.
So when
I was on the side of a river, so we had water.
Yeah. Yeah, having the water, that's perfect. Teepee, water, river.
Yeah. Fire on the inside. Just like
little bed set up.
Oh yeah. Oh, I had the whole thing set up like a
big,
little house.
Right? Yeah,
it was huge.
that's cool. Yeah.
So when we moved here, that's what we lived in when we built our house.
When you moved here, did you move here to the property we're at now?
No, and I was with my kid's dad there.
Yeah.
And we moved, I don't know if you know where Heidi Ridgway lives. She bought our place.
No, I'm not sure where it is.
On Cedar Road.
Okay.
Yeah, so we moved onto this property. And back then, in the day that we bought it, like 1980 or something, we got 5 acres of land for $15,000.
Wow. On Cedar.
It had been logged. It was ugly.
There was a raw land,
$15,000.
dirt road coming up to it, or there was a paved road at the time?
It was a dirt road. I think it's still dirt.
Yeah.
I think it's still a gravel
on Cedar?
road. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess,
kind of
pretty much,
anyways, Yeah, so anyways, that's where we lived. We lived in the teepee.
Not many other people around there? There's a few other people starting homesteading?
Yeah. There was Carol and Terberry.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, it was a bit. But, so we had Vaughn's crib in there, and he was just a baby.
Had you already had Vaughn when you moved here?
Yeah, he was a year.
Yeah, so you moved fresh to an island into a teepee.
Yeah.
With the 1.5-year-old little Vaughn.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah.
With Vaughn's dad.
With Vaughn's dad. Yeah. We built the house and lived there for 8 years or something before.
Wow.
We split up.
Wow. Hey, that's cool.
And Jeremy.
The day you moved out of the teepee into the house.
Oh, that was so great. That was really good because it was winter.
Oh yeah. You were happy.
It was cold. And we had baby. And,
you're like, let's get into the house.
Yeah.
Cool. And then Jared came just a couple of
years. Jeremy's 3 years.
3 years.
Yeah, almost to the day.
Nice.
Younger than Vaughn. And Jeremy was born on the ferry because Vaughn was a home birth, and back then it was illegal to have home births.
Illegal.
And this was in Tawasin, where we lived in Tawasin.
Whoa.
And it was illegal. And so
you had chose to do that, though.
I chose to do it for a funny reason. I knew my husband would never come to the hospital.
Really? Didn't like the
hospitals and
hospital.
stuff, and he didn't want to really have anything to do with that. So I thought, okay, let's have this baby at home.
Yeah.
So I went underground and found a midwife.
Yeah.
And
underground.
Underground, yeah, and they were being sued for if there was any problems or whatever. They were being sued. There was a lot of lawsuits going on back then.
Like midwives being sued because babies go.
Because something happens, and then they get charged.
Yeah, whoa.
It's crazy. Yeah, but nothing happened with Vaughn, and in fact, I knew nothing about what I was doing back then, and I invited my husband's father and mother, who was a nurse, and totally thought I should never have a home birth. And and my girlfriend Caroline, who now lives on Quadra here and works at my store. Cool. And her husband and 2 kids. They were young, and so we had this whole house full of people for this home birth, which I really didn't really get ahead about. Yeah. Because everybody was looking at my ass. Yeah. Incredible home birth, and his mother ran immediately to the health food store to my friends that own the health food store.
Really? Hey.
Yeah. So
that probably changed her perspective on it.
It did. And she was going to come 2 weeks early just to make sure she was here in time. Well, Jeremy happened to come like the night before she was supposed to come, and
one night early.
One night early, yeah. And didn't have a doctor or anything.
Yeah.
And somebody told me about Betty to work for the ambulance. So I called up Betty Dokes and asked her to see if I was actually in labor, because I was in labor. And Betty came and said, you're in labor. You probably got a while, but I suggest you get on the last ferry tonight to the hospital. And I thought, go to the hospital? Like, I was not prepared for that. And so I thought, no, I'm going to just hold it until my midwife comes. And she was going to come on the very first ferry. She was going to fly and get there first thing in the morning, right? Whoa. But I couldn't hold it. I tried. So I had to call an ambulance. On Betty's way out of the door, she said, I'm on call tonight in the ambulance, so if you need me, but please get on the last ferry. Well, I never got on the last ferry, and I called up Betty, and it was 2 in the morning. Betty came over. Betty came over, and she said, okay, get in the ambulance. And I said, I feel like I'm ready to have a baby here, can't I just? And she goes, get in the ambulance. So got in the ambulance, and I said, okay, Betty, I'm ready to push. Have the baby. No, we got to get to the ferry. So we get to the ferry, and I said, okay, Betty, I can't wait any longer. And she said, they forgot to call the captain. So everybody was ready to go on the ferry, but they forgot to call the captain. It was in the middle of the night. So Jeremy was born on the ferry. Everything was all done before we even left the dock.
Whoa.
And there were 7 of us in the back of the ambulance.
Yeah.
And I asked Betty if we could just go home, because it was all done, right? And she said it'll cost $2,500 unless you check in at the hospital when you call an emergency ferry or whatever.
You gotta use it.
We went over, checked in, didn't let them have the baby or anything. They were really pissed off that I wouldn't let them do anything, and that I didn't have a doctor or anything like that. And we caught the first ferry back. So, but Jeremy has his birth certificate says that he was born on the Discovery Passage, and he has a free ferry pass for life.
Yeah, he showed us his card. I was like, whoa, dude.
I know. So that's really great. I didn't get anything.
Cool. You didn't get nothing.
I got Jeremy.
Oh, that's awesome. That's pretty wicked, man.
Yeah, so
that's pretty wicked.
Jeremy was born here.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool. Wow. Yeah, and raising 2 boys on Quadra in between Quadra and Victoria, kind of thing, right?
The kids.
Yeah.
When they got older. Yeah. Victoria, but they're both back.
Yeah, it was cool.
Mm-hmm.
It
was nice.
Cool.
And I got to get to know Victoria a little bit with the kids there.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I don't really remember Vaughn. He was a little older than me, but I totally remember Jared growing up in school. It was good times. I remember, it's funny. I had I had Campbell River and Quadra, so I had like half friends on Quadra and half friends in Campbell River, and I was kind of this, in between guy. So it was neat to. I'm so glad that I got that bit of an insight when I was a kid here. Now living here, right?
Yeah.
I really enjoy living here.
Great.
It's man,
it's a great place to raise children. It's really a healthy place to be.
Well, especially it's going anywhere else. You go anywhere else.
Yeah, and you realize how great it is here.
You really realize that there's, when there's cons, there's pros and cons to everywhere, right? But the pros definitely are outweighing the cons around here.
My thought is you choose the place that you want to live, and then you find the work.
Yeah.
In that area. Yeah. That way, like I've always been happy. I've always done what I've wanted to do. Yeah. And I'm happy. I'm really happy here.
Yeah. You ran your Hemp store.
Yep. Blair and I started up in across from the police station in a teeny weeny little place.
Oh, you had a different location before Hemp.
I don't know if you remember Leanne. She lived in the house across the street from the police station.
Yeah.
And I used to manage the healthcare department, which was huge at Quadra Food Store.
Oh.
And anyways, I had a run-in with the Campbell River, who was younger than me, and he didn't like me telling him what to do.
Oh.
Because he kept hiring Campbell River people, and I was trying to tell him, people are pissed off. You got to hire Quadra people.
Yeah, at the store.
At the store.
Yeah.
Yeah, the grocery store. So anyways, he got mad and cut my hours and whatever.
Yeah.
So I'm at home one night, and Leanne was my friend, and she was visiting, and the phone kept ringing with people asking me health questions, right? And she goes, man, you got to get your own place. And I said, I don't really have any money to get my own place. And she said, I'm going to build you a place. So she did. And Mike Thompson did all the cedar work. It was absolutely gorgeous. She's an artist. She painted sunflowers all over the walls. Like, it was beautiful.
Beautiful little shop.
And we started out like really small with $6,000 worth of product. That's it. And I have built the store since then.
It's an epic shop you got
really
there.
Beautiful.
Like I definitely direct people when they come here. I try to tell them, I'm like, listen, and I tell them there's, you got the plant store, then you got the health food store, then you got the laundromat, you got the bulk food, then you got the pizza shop, then you got the post office, then you got the store, then you got the bookstore, then you got the insurance, and then you got another food store, and then you get the library, and that's all you got.
Oh, that's
it's all closed at 8.
Right? That's the beauty of the island.
Don't even think about coming down on a Monday.
I know. It's so hard to go out at night after being, at work all day and everything. It's really, but,
Yeah. So then I heard that you moved in there after it was a pool hall. Was that correct or something?
It had been a pool hall, but when I moved in, it had been a kayak shop before that. And they messed this incredible floor. It looks like bricks. And Linda, get her last name? Enric? No. She had a fabric shop there.
Okay.
And she painted beautiful like birds and nests on the walls. And she painted this floor to look like old brick. It's incredible with sponges, and it's a huge place.
Yeah.
And the kayak shop just painted kayaks and stuff in there and slopped up this beautiful floor.
Oh, no.
Yeah. That was too bad, but yeah, so the kayak shop for me.
Okay. Yeah, I heard. I don't remember it at all being a pool hall, but I heard that it was at one point.
It didn't last.
It didn't last.
It didn't last too bad.
But it was the whole building, and then they put a wall in the middle, I heard, or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I can't remember how that.
Something like that.
Pool hall it wasn't there for long.
No.
But it should have been.
Yeah.
They didn't have the money to just hang in there. You need to establish yourself.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So
totally.
I think you start out small, establish yourself, and then grow.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, are you excited to go on to the next phase of the biz there, or what?
Yeah. So I am retiring.
Be exciting.
I'm selling my store. I've sold my store.
Yeah.
I thought it would take maybe a year or two to sell it, but I sold it in 3 days.
Wow.
I hadn't even advertised.
Wow. I'll take it. Wow, that's awesome. Congrats.
So I'm going to spend another 6 months training the lady that bought it, Veronica, and just like getting ready to retire.
Yeah, awesome. So
I'm gonna stay home. I'm gonna garden.
You're gonna be kicking that garden into high gear,
yeah,
right? Oh,
finally
cool.
time to do that.
Nice.
And I do love sewing.
Yeah.
And I've got this grand idea of making certain things that nobody's making on Quadra, but I'm not gonna tell you what.
No, I'm excited. That's cool. That's cool. Yeah, and well, summertime's coming, so it's the time to be brewing new ideas. And I just saw my garlic's already popping up.
Oh
there,
yeah,
so
lots of garlic. I have
pretty happy with that.
800.
800 garlics.
Yeah, and it's
I don't have 800.
I sell it to the store.
Yeah.
But it's still not enough.
Not enough.
So
yeah.
Vaughn built 3 new beds. And
Sweet.
Yeah, Vaughn's great. He builds the beds.
Oh yeah, that guy's a workhorse.
Yeah,
eh?
he's a workhorse.
Holy.
He's a really,
we built some jumps together, and I'm like,
oh, yeah.
wow, this guy can build a jump.
I know. He's like a human excavator. My number one son.
Yeah, I really like those. He did a couple of nice time-lapse videos of building. He's got, I forget what his YouTube is.
Yeah, he was
doing
like, my garage.
Yeah, and he's got a couple of nice
beach.
time-lapse building videos of that garage that were really cool.
Yeah, it's really good. Yeah, he did a good job with that.
Okay, so you gave me... Oh, what do you got?
I have a jar of pickles for you.
A jar of pickles?
With my garlic.
Oh, wow. Thanks, Barb.
Organic.
Wow, I love pickles.
Oh, good.
Yeah, totally. Those are huge, hey?
Yeah.
Wow, look at the size of those beauties. Oh, man, that's cool. So you sent me a list of questions that I was to ask these guests. So now I'm gonna ask you the questions, and we already went through a couple of them. So where were you born?
Born in Calgary, lived there for the first 20 years of my life. Moved to BC with my sister and her girlfriend, and I had a motorcycle. My dad owned a motorcycle shop when I was growing up, so
nice. That's
anyways.
Cool. So you can
we
ride.
Moved here with all of our motorcycles,
and
we moved to Tawasin, and I've never, gone back to Alberta. Basically, I might have gone back a couple times.
Yeah,
but that's it.
Yeah,
I've been here I'm 63, so 43 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
So did you ride motorbikes as a kid then?
Well, as a kid, we had we used to go to all these things on the weekends, like motocross kind of stuff with the mechanics that worked at my dad's shop. And my dad never rode a motorcycle though.
No.
As I remember. No. In the winter and motorcycles in the summer.
Repairing.
I don't remember my dad ever riding a motorcycle.
He wasn't a big biker.
I don't think my mother would have allowed him to.
Really?
5 kids.
Good mechanic though.
Well, no, he wasn't a mechanic. He was a good businessman.
He was a good businessman, so he was selling bikes.
Oh yeah, it was a motorcycle shop.
It was selling bikes.
Yeah, making them in the back and then selling
making bikes even.
Yeah, putting them
fabricating.
So he had like 5 guys, young, good-looking guys.
Yeah.
In the back, and they were all putting together. The crates would come from Japan or somewhere.
And they'd assemble all the bikes.
And they'd put them all together back there, and then they had a storefront that they sold them on.
That's pretty cool.
My dad did the business part and ran the mechanic kind of thing. But on the weekends, we would go to all these motocross shows and his bikes.
Cool.
So I had some rides on the back with some of the mechanics, and loved it.
Yeah.
So when I got married, did my husband have a bike? No, he didn't. I had a motorcycle, and he would sit on the back and let me drive him.
It was a street bike?
It was a 650 Yamaha. Yeah. And so I told him he had to get his own. And so he did. And one day we were in a motorcycle shop going to get some rain gear. And we were about to be married. No, we weren't about to be married. In fact, we weren't even talking about that because I didn't really want to ever get married.
Okay.
And this guy in front of us, when we were standing there to pay for our rain gear, said, "Hey, we have 2 spots left on an airplane to go to the Isle of Man tour." And is it the Isle of Man or the Isle of Wight? The motorcycle, I can't remember because it's a long time ago.
I don't know.
And he said it's $700, and you bring your motorcycle, $700 return, and you end up in England but you can stop along the way, and it's an open-ended ticket. And my boyfriend and I, and say, we'll go.
We'll go.
And so he said, let's get married and make it a honeymoon. So we did that, and we took our bikes.
Ship the bikes over.
Ship the bikes over. You just take the battery out, put it into this crate at the airport.
Yeah.
And we didn't even have to go at the same time as all these other ones that were going on this motorcycle tour. You could just go anytime. I don't know how, but it was like an amazing trip. And we toured around Europe. We had landed in Germany.
In Germany.
Toured around Europe for 4.5 months. And his sister lived in Holland.
Oh, cool.
So we spent 2 of those months in Holland working. She's a homeopath medical doctor, and her husband was a medical doctor and a hypnotherapist. This big, huge 400-year-old barn house, and the bricks were starting to break apart, and my husband was a carpenter, so he helped work on that, and I did the cooking because they had a crew of people. I also got to teach some English, and yeah. That's
a serious bike trip.
Oh yeah, it was amazing.
And my bikes worked well.
My bike screwed up, and right like 2 days before the electrical went on it, and I always have problems with the electrical part, and so we decided right at the very end that we could better not take it.
Yeah.
So we just shipped one bike, a big one, and we rode on that.
Oh, so you shipped yours back?
We shipped his. No, we just shipped his bike.
Left yours.
Left my bike.
Just left
Yeah.
it. Sold it? Left it?
No, we left it, and then I think and then I brought it. I can't remember what I did with it.
What did you do with it? Just still sitting there.
I don't remember. I don't ride bikes anymore. I got too many broken bones already.
Did you have some accidents?
I only had one accident on the bike, and I just hit gravel, but I was wearing like polyester pants. It was 2 a.m, so I was working in a bar for a few years, and I lived 30 miles outside of the town that I worked in. And so I'd have to get on my motorcycle and go home to this place on a farm. And I could never count on that electrical. Like, that electrical gave me hassles all the time. Anyways, I get lots of tickets, speeding tickets, going home every night because the highway, this was like, it was a highway. Yeah. So one night, I was going around a corner, and I was wearing these black polyester pants because I was working in a bar. And I wiped out, and the muffler was resting on my leg, and it melted my pants, but I never ended up with any road rash or anything because these polyester pants. If I was wearing cotton, I would have had like a whole lot of road rash.
Yeah. Whoa.
So safe, but polyester.
Yeah.
Plastic.
The bike crashes are scary.
Yeah, but I didn't really hurt myself.
That's good.
Nothing. No, didn't. I did dump it one time. I had a fight with my boyfriend and my husband in Europe. And so I got on this big, huge bike, and it had a huge fairing, big, huge saddlebags, and a back saddlebag. It was like really, really heavy. I could lift my bike up, but I couldn't lift that bike up. Yeah. And I just took off, and I dumped the bike outside this farm, and there was this old man and a son, and they didn't speak any English. Whoa. And I dumped the bike, and I was like trying to lift this bike up. And anyways, they came over and made me feel really like a stupid dumb blonde. They lifted the bike up for me.
Nice. They had probably made their day though. Yeah. Oh, that's epic.
But one night, so my husband was fixing the bike, welding in Holland in the shop at his brother-in-law's, and he never knew the welding rule about like wearing the shield or whatever.
Oh yeah.
And it's in the middle of the night, and all of a sudden his eyes are like burning so bad. And he said, "You got to get me to like the doctor." The doctor was in the next town. So, I got on the bike and him on the back and got him to this next town.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Yeah, that was quite an experience.
Yeah, welder's flash scary.
Oh yeah. Ooh. But he did okay.
He was all right.
But it was a great trip, and Greece is incredible.
Yeah.
I'd go back there.
So Germany to Greece.
Oh, we did Yugoslavia.
Yeah,
we were all over the place. We had 13 different countries.
Oh wow.
Going kind of slow on the bike, and I had a big camera, and I was just standing on the back basically
You're taking pics?
Everywhere. Yeah, we got like 1,000 different shots.
You still got some or what? Oh,
yeah.
nice. They got a sweet
collection.
You were taking pictures back then?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I was totally
into photography.
Yeah. I Laird and I spent 6 months in Thailand, and again, took lots of pictures.
Nice.
Same camera.
Same camera?
Yeah.
Wow.
But some guy from Denmark said, "Oh, can I see that camera?" And then he drops it.
Oh!
This was in Thailand, and it bent the lens, and then it just never worked very well after that.
Really?
It really get the lens off.
Bugger.
But it did see 2 great trips.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's good. It's crazy looking back on those old photos, right? That's the time where you're glad that you have those photos when you're looking back, right?
Laird wrote 3 big books when we were in Thailand. We were there for 6 months, and one page was pictures that we had taken. We got to develop there.
Yeah.
And on the other side was telling stories about those pictures.
Oh,
so
cool.
we got 3 of his journals.
Oh wow! Cool.
Of Thailand. Yeah, those are really great.
When was that?
That was 1990.
90. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, it was really great. I taught him how to ride a motorcycle because we rented motorcycles in Thailand to get around, and I didn't want to be hauling him on the back, so
you're like, all right.
I taught him how to ride a motorcycle.
Oh, interesting. I didn't. That's funny. Both you and Robin, both motorcycle ladies that I would have never expected. Robin Evans, she on her episode she was saying she did the motorcycle thing. I was like, wow, and it's funny, maybe back then it was a lot more,
well, it wasn't.
Not even more common. One of the only ladies. Yeah. But I guess you had that connection from your dad, right? So that was the real. So did he sell you a bike or give you a bike, or did you?
No, I'd already been kicked out. I didn't see my family again for like 11 years.
So they kicked you out and you didn't see them?
No, they didn't want to be.
Really? Like that? And then 11 years later,
11 years
they opened
later,
up? Or?
No, I never did. My mom, when I had Vaughn, I thought, well, this is their first grandchild. I'll call and see if they're, interested in meeting their first grandchild. To Calgary.
Yeah.
And they did, but it was really like distant, and it was never good.
Yeah, strange.
But I had one sister who was 1 year older than me, and we've remained really close.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So you got...
My parents were both dead.
Okay.
We never worked out our issues.
Fair enough.
Yeah. But I'm okay. I had a really great childhood.
Nice.
Yeah.
So you got one older sister than you as a younger fam?
We have Brenda, Barbara, Brent, Melinda, and Bruce.
Whoa, all B's?
We were called the 5 B's.
Whoa, that's wild. You're in the second down.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And,
wow. So I have, when we were all young, is this too long?
No, we're fine. What are we at? No, we're
okay.
chilling. No, we're chilling. We can go on for a bit more. Let me grab another drink here.
Okay. When I was young, my brother was very sick, the baby. And when he was like 9 years old, he was so sick and hospitalized. And they found out that he had Crohn's. And he had all kinds of machines and all this stuff. Anyways, my parents took all 4 of us other children to the hospital to visit with him, because he'd been in there for, I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 weeks or something. He had had an operation. He took out 25 feet of his intestine.
Younger bro.
Ridiculous at 9 years old.
Whoa.
Yeah, and anyways, we all went into the room, and he was hooked up to all these tubes coming out of everywhere, and he was like a Michelin man, all bloated up like a Michelin man, and he was like 9 years old. I think it shocked the shit out of all of us so much that my brother is a medical doctor, and he has 2 degrees, and he's a specialist.
Yeah.
My brother, who's the sick one, he is a pharmacist. My sister, who's older than me, she is a registered nurse.
Wow.
And I went into like alternative health. Yeah.
Nice.
So 4 to 5 of us. I think that was what did it.
You think so? Hey?
Oh, yeah, seeing him like
that was shocking. That was a traumatic thing.
My parents never should have taken us to there.
They took you to the hospital.
It was awful. Yeah.
I wonder why. Hey, you got to come see him.
To see him because
Maybe they didn't even know that it would have been.
They didn't even think of it.
They didn't think it was going to be. Oh, come see your brother at the hospital.
Exactly.
And you're like, whoa.
Yeah. It's pretty shocking.
Holy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's scary. Hospitals, man. I feel pretty happy that we got that new hospital now. Even right, it's like our old hospital was pretty old.
It was, but they built this brand new, beautiful hospital, and it's got the same amount of beds as the other one, and the other one was like we were outgrowing that. So.
Oh, just like our ferry.
Yeah.
That'll be interesting. Stoked to see the new ferry come in. It's the first ride on the new ferry. Hey, we'll be like, oh.
Do you remember when there were 2 ferries?
No.
When we had the 2 ferries?
No.
You don't?
No.
Oh.
No.
Well, every half an hour, 2 little ferries. Right?
Yeah.
They just go back and forth.
Yeah.
So imagine the time it's like now.
Yeah. I'm wondering if they do the 2 ferries every run, or was it only?
No, half an hour every. Yeah.
Every run.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I'm wondering if they're going to do that this time, or if they're going to do
I'm sure it'll be worse.
Well, I'm
sure it'll be.
My prediction is that they're going to have the 9 a.m. to 5 will be the double ferry.
Yeah, exactly.
And then the later and the earlier runs would be a single run type thing.
We don't need it. It's bloody cold in here.
I know. That's why I brought the fireplace out. I know, but it doesn't reach very far. I know.
I'm going to put my hands in my pocket. I've spent a lot of time in the hospital, by the way. I've had like 28 surgeries. When I was 12, I was a gymnast, and when I was 12, I had these knee surgeries that they don't do anymore. They call it barbaric, and it made it so every 3 years I've had my knees operated on to make up for that initial surgeries that I had. But it never stopped me, even with these big, huge casts on, like right from my hip down to my ankle. I was still doing gymnastics and wrecking the cast. Yeah, I remember doing what's that called this summer that we do? The track and field. Oh, thanks, Gibby.
No sweat.
Track and field, and I had this big cast on, and I was a high jumper. And I remember taking that cast up over the bar, and like that Pillsbury roll, I think it was called, or something, and I got this big cast and I rolled it up over top and went right over there, and I won the competition.
Did high jump? Nice. I used to love the high jump in school. That was great. Oh yeah, track and field. That was probably one of my favorite parts of high school back in the day, was doing those track and field events and everything. And they had like at Phoenix School, they had the big track, and they bring it all out and do the high jump, the long jump, the shot put, and
you get to be outside all day. That was the best part.
Oh yeah, they make you feel good, and you win and you lose, and you learn about winning and losing and all that kind of thing, and it boosted my competitive. I remember, being competitive with like some of the other boys and just being like, he's got that record, I'm gonna get him,
Yeah, I was pretty competitive too with gymnastics.
Yeah, I never got into the gymnastics, but now, they'll see the people that did the gymnastics. It's kind of like become super cool with the whole parkour thing. They've made that like
so cool,
right? And they're running and jumping and flipping off buildings. And some of the guys get pretty death-defying, which is scary. But I love that acrobatics.
Skateboarding is like, there's some death-defying things that can happen.
You're not up 90 stories jumping from building to building, but that gets...
I remember chasing my 2 boys around. We'd go everywhere with them when they were skateboarding.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we used to save all our coins in this olive barrel that we had, and we count them once a year and take them to that skateboard competition in Vancouver.
Oh?
What's it called?
The one in North Van there?
Well, no, it's right downtown in the skateboard competition.
Oh, the Slam City Jam or whatever. Yeah.
Slam City Jam. And wow, that was an eye-opener.
Oh, yeah.
Seeing those kids doing that stuff.
Oh, yeah, and it's like huge money too, right? It's like this massive industry, right? Skateboarding, right? It's like this flippy board thing, but it's like, man, this is a multi-million-dollar, billion-dollar industry, and now it's. I love watching all the half pipe and all that. I just saw a thing actually. It was like I think it was like 20 years of like think it was a 20-year anniversary or something like that of the Tony Hawk video game, which like changed the video gaming world, because the Tony Hawk series was like so big, right?
You know what I was looking at? I worked at the school here on Quadra for 12 and a half years with special needs kids, and one of the kids that I worked with, it was like an after-school thing, and he was so into that. Tony Hawk, like I know that name. Just
yeah,
he was
totally.
Like, so into it, he was just watching that all the time. It was pretty amazing.
Yeah. So you taught at the school?
Yeah, well,
for 12 years. You did the special needs program type thing?
I loved it.
Yeah.
I love working with kids.
I bet, yeah. Oh, that's cool.
And I also changed the playground, let's put it that way. When I first started there was lots of fights and some pretty heavy kids. Like, it actually the kids in grade 6, because I went to grade 6, like swearing at the principal and hitting the principal, and I thought, wow, that's
like serious misbehavior.
Yeah, totally. Anyways, these rotten kids, I worked on the playground at lunchtime.
Yeah.
And I was totally into games and stuff, so I started Red Rover and dodgeball and all those things. And soon enough, there was like 50 kids, all the rottenest of them.
Yeah, they were all wanting to play the game. Right?
Everybody. And it was really good. Like what happened to the playground then it was really good.
You got to see a transformation.
Like yeah, totally. Yeah.
Pretty nice kids in there nowadays. It looks like
I
see them playing around.
Yeah.
I like driving
by.
It
only goes to grade 5 now. Too.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, I thought that was kind of funny. They did grade 6 at Phoenix, and they put in a big playground there. I was like, oh, that's kind of neat, but you know, it's.
They put in a big playground where?
At Phoenix.
Oh, at Phoenix.
At Phoenix, right? But I was like, I don't know. I just thought about it. For the grade 6, I'm like, oh, isn't that kind of a degrading thing? Where you're at Phoenix, it's like, oh, only the grade 6 is playing the play. But then you see all the kids there playing on it or whatever, right? So I'm sure it's good for, you know, at least getting them physical out there, right? Yeah, and like running around, right? Right? Yeah, super interesting.
Yeah, back in the day, like, we would eat breakfast and get on our bicycles and just go outside and not come home until like dinner time.
Yeah,
or
big bike riding was.
Oh, there was a lot. Yeah,
that's all bike riding.
Yeah, all the time.
Yeah, yeah, that's good. I think. Yeah. I like that we have lots of. I was just saying to the boys, it's a big bike riding community here. You know, there's a lot of people that are super passionate about riding bikes.
Yeah, it's really good. Lots
I think that's a cool thing.
Yeah.
I was saying we got to try and get old Sam Whittingham on here.
Yeah, that'd be really good.
Thought he'd be a good one to have on here.
Probably just ride by so fast that we would never see him.
Hilarious. So good. Yeah, we have so many cool characters on this island, and I was super stoked to just get this format going at least, right?
Oh, and very good of you to do this.
Yeah, I'm not doing it with too much of a budget here, but I had a little.
You don't need much.
No, exactly. Yeah. Had a little microphone and the cam set up, so happy to have that going. We'll see if we missed any more of these dirty little questions.
You want to hear about my working in prison?
Yeah. Well, like it said.
I used to work in a prison.
Well, it says like where were you born and then what kind of jobs have you had? So.
Well,
what kind of crazy jobs have you had?
After I got kicked out, I kind of lived on the streets a little bit, so I got this feeling for the street kids, right? And I got a job at Shell Oil. I was only like 17, and it was really hard getting a job. Somebody actually lied and said I was 18. Mm-hmm. And I heard on the radio while I was doing the stuff that I was doing there that they were looking for people to work, kind of like people to work with kids. Street kids, right? So I went and applied, and I really liked it. And then they were offering criminal justice at Mount Royal University in Calgary. And so I started working and saving for that. And
to go to the program?
Yep, it was a 2-year program. And I graduated from that and loved it.
How much was it?
I can't remember. I was really young.
Couple grand kind of thing? Like.
Well, it was 2 years, and I had to pay for like my apartment, plus and everything. I should go to student loan.
You had to move there, yeah.
No, I was there. In Calgary.
Okay, in Calgary.
Yeah. So the first year was like police science. You had to do all this police science.
Police
stuff.
science.
Yeah, that was the first year of criminology.
Okay.
Then the second year you branch out into either being a cop or corrections, which is what I took the corrections.
For the guys that don't make it as a cop.
Like working with the kids, right?
Yeah.
Juvenile delinquents and stuff.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Working in prison systems or whatever.
Yeah.
But that wasn't something I wanted to do. So, anyways, in the second year, they put you into practicums, jobs that just try out. And I ended up in a prison, the remand center in downtown Calgary, where it's like you get everybody in there and then you farm them out to wherever. So it's maximum prison. And I was the first female guard on the male side.
First one
ever.
Ever.
I can understand why it hadn't been done before.
Yeah. But they're like,
we'll just stick
young
you right
blonde,
here.
she do just fine.
Exactly. We'll just stick you in here.
Yeah.
Anyways, it was like shocking. And
but they loved you in there.
They did, but the guards were